It was a momentous day for me. It was the day that I was going to pay off my mortgage. And I called the bank because I needed to make a large payment to pay off that final balance. And something really interesting happened. And I want to share that story with you today, which sounds a bit like a story from a Black Mirror episode. I'm Justin Turner from AskJT, and thanks for tuning in again. So what happened? What's my story today? Well, I needed to make this payment to pay off my mortgage, and there was an online portal for my mortgage provider, and they wouldn't let the payment through. So I had to ring up my bank and actually ask authorization. And I went through the usual steps. I was asked for my sort code and account number. I was kind of confronted with this phrase, and it said, "Please repeat the phrase, 'My voice is my password.'" So I did just that. I said, "My voice is my password," and it let me in. That moment of mischief, I just thought, I wonder. And I hung up the phone and I went through the whole process all over again. I went through sort code and account number, but this time I'd logged into ElevenLabs. ElevenLabs is a piece of software I've used to create an AI voice clone of myself. I've used it to record my audiobooks, and I put in the phrase in this section called text to speech, "My voice is my password," and I played it into my phone. And guess what? It let me through security. Thank you for passing security. I then got through to this very nice, charming woman at HSBC who helped me with the transaction. She asked me all sorts of questions like, "Are you being coerced into making this payment?" There was all sorts of questions about fraud and security and everything like that. And obviously I went through all of those questions and queries that she had about the transaction. And I got to a point where the transaction was made and everything had gone through. At the end of the call, I said to her, "Can I just ask you about that security system that you've got, which is my voice is my password? Is that protected from AI voice clones?" And she said, I don't know. I don't know." After I'd made the transaction, I hung up. I didn't tell her about it. I rang HSBC back again and said, "I want to remove my voice." But this time I'd also used my voice clone to get in. I'd passed security yet again. So 2 times I'd gone through security, and I asked to go back to using a PIN number. I said to the chap that I'd used an AI voice clone to get access to my accounts. But again, he just didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do with that piece of information. It had passed security. Everything was fine. Everything a green tick must have been showing on his system. But the reality is that he quite happily changed my details within my bank, even though he knew that I'd used an AI voice clone. Okay, fair enough. I have the rights to my own voice clone. I've created that. There's a declaration within ElevenLabs that I click on to say that I own the rights to my own voice. We're talking about like an ethical concern there, aren't we? But are criminals ethically motivated like that? I think not. And I think it brings up a wider conversation, something that we all need to think about in small business, and not just small business. It's also about in our personal lives as well. Is how well are these biometric systems actually protecting us? There was a comment made where your voice is as good as a fingerprint. It's so unique to you, which is why security systems are using the HSBC. We're using it. HMRC have used a similar system, and there are other systems that have used that. Your voice is your password in effect, but we're using yesterday's technology to solve today's problems. This technology exists. And just to illustrate this further is a friend of mine, Michael Heppel, he's a best-selling business author. He ran an experiment with an AI model using a voice clone. And he shared a video with me of him using this AI system that he links up to WhatsApp. He'd had a technology expert helping him. And he had a full conversation with what appeared to be him. So just imagine that in your business for a second, that someone can clone your voice, connect it up to a AI model. I don't know what AI model he was using. Maybe it was ChatGPT. And then connecting it up to something like WhatsApp, where it can make an outbound call and actually have a conversation with something. His AI model was responding to questions. You could ask it anything and it would respond in his voice. And I think that brings up all sorts of things about how we're actually protecting our businesses. In my own work, imagine if someone rang one of my colleagues at work and said, "Oh yeah, could you authorize that payment for such and such?" All of a sudden they would just think it's me. It sounds like me. You can train AI models on data on me. And it's not complicated to create these things as well. It's really, really not. I've been talking to my colleagues at work a little bit about kind of security and what we're going to do going forward. You could build in some really, really simple things into your business that can protect you against this sort of stuff. And I think the first one is anything that is using your voice as your password. I would probably recommend you get rid of that and go back to a standard PIN code, and obviously keep that really, really securely. The second thing that I'd suggest you do is that you have a password. So when you see that person, so let's say it's a financial controller in your business, is say, look, why do we agree a special code word? And you can use that code word. So if they call you out the blue and ask you to make a payment, for example, you can say, could you just give me the code word? And that will obviously help you protect yourself from that. This is just a short message today because I want to spark something in you to maybe start questioning some of these things that are happening out in the technology marketplace, because it's all very well to say, oh, well, AI, I'm not really interested in it. I'm not going to use AI. The problem is people can use AI against you, and they can use these technology products and tools that we've got available against you and cause your business damage. So you need to think about what steps you're going to do and go off and put some of those steps into practice. I hope you've really enjoyed listening today. Please consider subscribing. It makes a massive difference to kind of spurring me on to produce this great content for you. And I'll see you at the next video. Thanks. Bye.